Good evening, residents of San Francisco. My name is Joelle Gonzalez, and I thank you for inviting me here today to give an oral presentation regarding your fish kill crisis. I just finished my biology class at Unity College, Biology 103, where I learned a lot about metabolism and catabolism. And about 5 months ago, I was contacted by your city council to help investigate the cause of the amount of fish washing up ashore. And after conducting thorough investigations and taking scientific measurements, I have concluded that the toxin that is responsible for fish kill is saxitoxin. So you're probably wondering, what is saxitoxin? Well, saxitoxin is a toxic chemical that is derived from the functional groups aminol, carbamate, urethane, alkanol, carbonyl, and carbonyl hydrate. And on my right hand side here, we have the chemical structure of saxitoxin. As well as in front of you, you have 2 fact sheets regarding more in-depth information about saxitoxin that we will all be going over with together. So where exactly does saxitoxin come from? Well, saxitoxin is a result of Alexandrium, which is a well-known group of marine dinoflagellates. It is also a form of algae that can be found in subpolar, temperate, and tropical coastal waters. Currently, there are more than 30 recognized species and 3 well-supported species complexes. And when Alexandrium blooms, it shows up as algae, but the cells of Alexandrium itself must be seen through a microscope that is not visible to the naked eye. Moving on, saxitoxin enters the cell by entering the cytoplasm and induces apoptosis through a caspase-dependent pathway. So what is apoptosis? It is the process of programmed cell death. And a caspase is a unique family of cysteine proteases carried out by apoptosis. Caspase exist in inactive zymogens in cells and undergo a cascade of catalytic activation at the onset of apoptosis. Saxitoxin is a result of Alexandrium blooms, and it contributes to dissolving oxygen in water, which relates to saxitoxin because it causes paralysis in both humans and fish due to nerve blockage. Moving on, humans are exposed to saxitoxin by ingesting certain fish that contain it in their tissue, and the effects of saxitoxin in humans can range from numbness in oral mucosa, which is the skin lining our mouths, which includes our cheeks and lips. And in extreme cases of poisoning, illness can rapidly progress and cause gastrointestinal and neurological symptoms, which include nausea, vomiting, cranial nerve dysfunction and floating sensation, headache, muscle weakness, and vertigo. And what organs are exactly affected by this? Although saxitoxin is a neurotoxin cell, it actually affects a variety of tissue damage, which can include our liver and our kidneys. Now, what metabolic process does saxitoxin affect? And this would be glycolysis. Glycolysis is a process of breaking down glucose that involves 10 enzymes, but there are 3 key enzymes to this, which is hexokinase, phosphofructose kinase, and pyruvate kinase. And glycolysis produces 2 molecules of pyruvate, 2 molecules of ATP, 2 molecules of NADH, and 2 molecules of water, and takes place in the cytoplasm. Saxitoxin actually affects this process because it enters through our cytoplasm and begins to take effect there, which prevents the enzymes from carrying out the breakdown of glucose. And it's very important to notice that without glycolysis occurring, there is no immediate energy being made, nor is there any energy being made to be stored in our bodies for later. And with this happening, it actually catalyzes the paralysis to spread from saxitoxin. The contact of saxitoxin with fish and other sea life was made due to the algae blooms, also known as Alexandrium blooms, that have occurred this year due to warmer temperatures in water. And there is an increase in these warm waters due to the large industrial operation that is actually taking place on the northern side of the Bay Area that burns large amounts of fossil fuels and not only increases the temperature of the water, but has the waste flow into the waters and pollute them with harsh toxins that are other besides saxitoxin. My suggestion for the City Council would be to discuss with the leader of operations and explain as to why this project is harming not only sea life, but potentially human life as well, and see if there's any way to reduce the amount of fossil fuels being burned or even relocating the industrial site. As I mentioned before in the beginning of this presentation, I have provided 2 fact sheets that are in front of you that provide more in-depth information about saxitoxin and more information how it affects the metabolic process. And that includes my presentation and conclusion about what is causing the amount of fish washing up ashore.